Look at this. Go find a mirror, right now. Stand in front of it. Raise your right hand. The guy in the mirror raises his left hand. It's obvious, right? We've accepted this since we were toddlers. The mirror flips left and right, case closed. But wait a minute. Look closer. Why didn't the mirror flip your head to your feet? Think about it. If the mirror has the magical power to swap the horizontal axis, why is the vertical axis immune? Does the glass know which way gravity is pulling? Does it have a built-in gyroscope? Number, it's a piece of glass with a layer of silver on the back. It has no brain. It has no concept of up or down. It doesn't know you are standing up. You could be floating in zero gravity, and it would still swap your hands, but not your head. The mirror isn't making a choice. You are. The paradox isn't in the optics. It is in your neurology. You are seeing something that isn't happening, and you are missing the violence that actually is. We use words like flip or reverse so casually, the mirror reverses the image. But what does that mean physically? If I take a pancake and flip it, the top becomes the bottom. The mirror doesn't do that. If I take a sheet of paper and rotate it, the left becomes the right, but the back of the paper is now facing you. The mirror doesn't do that either. You still see the front of your shirt. So, our standard metaphors for flipping are garbage. They are mechanical movements of solid objects in 3D space. But a reflection isn't a solid object. It is a projection. We are trying to apply the physics of spinning coins to the physics of photons, and that is where the logic breaks down. The mirror is not performing a rotation. It is performing a transformation that your brain is frantically trying to translate into a movement it understands. And your brain is getting it wrong. Let's run a simulation in your head. I want you to close your eyes. Seriously, do it. Picture yourself standing in front of that mirror. Now, imagine a ghost version of you peeling off from your physical body. This ghost needs to get into the mirror world to face you. How does it get there? Watch the movie in your mind. Does the ghost slide straight through the glass like a gas? Number. In your imagination, the ghost walks around the mirror. It walks a semicircle, maybe to the right, goes behind the glass, and then turns around to face you. Stop. Rewind. Did you see that? The ghost turned around. It rotated 180 degrees on its vertical axis, the axis that runs from your head to your feet. Because you rotated horizontally, your right hand ended up on the left side. That is why you think left and right are flipped. You are imagining a rotation that never happened. Your brain is obsessed with social interaction. When it sees a face, it thinks, that is another person facing me. And for another person to face you, they must have turned around. You are projecting a biological history of human movement onto a static optical phenomenon. You chose the horizontal rotation, not the mirror. Now, let's strip away the biology and look at the raw geometry. Let's talk about the z-axis in a 3D coordinate system. You have x, left, right, y up, down, and z forward, backward. Point your finger at the mirror. That is the z-axis. A photon leaves your fingertip, travels along the z-axis, hits the glass, and bounces straight back. It doesn't slide to the left. It doesn't slide down. It comes right back at you. The mirror doesn't invert x. It doesn't invert y. It inverts. It turns the universe inside out along the depth axis. Imagine your body is a hollow rubber glove. If you grab the inside of the fingers and pull them through the wrist, you turn the glove inside out. A right-handed glove becomes a left-handed glove. That is what the mirror is doing. It is a depth inverter. It is crushing the front of your face through the back of your head. The reason you don't perceive it as inside out is that your brain cannot process depth inversion. It is too weird, so it patches the data. It says, okay, let's just pretend he turned around. It is a cognitive shortcut, a lie. This leads us to the container fallacy. You look at a mirror and you feel like you are looking into a room. a space, a volume. You feel like if you could just pass through the glass, you could walk around in there. This is the background stage that your brain constructs to make sense of reality. But there is no container. There is no there. The image of your eye exists on the surface of the glass, not behind it. If you put a speck of dust on the mirror surface, it sits right on top of your reflection's nose. The depth you see is a hallucination caused by the focal length of your lenses. By treating the mirror as a room, you assume the rules of 3D space apply. Like rotation, you assume that for a face to look at you, it must have rotated. But a mirror image is the one thing in the universe that can face you without ever having turned toward you. It is a dimensional crash site. Let's make this visceral. Imagine you are driving a car. You are moving forward. Now, you want to face the cars behind you. What do? You make a U-turn. You steer the car in a semicircle. That is a rotation on the 2D plane of the road. Now, imagine a different way to face backward. Imagine the car stops, and suddenly the front bumper is pushed through the engine, through the driver's seat, through the trunk, until the car has turned itself inside out like a sock. Now, the headlights are facing backward. No rotation happened. The car didn't turn left or right. It imploded along its length. This is the violence of the mirror. In our 3D world, solid objects like cars and bodies can't turn inside out. It kills them. But light has no mass. Light can do this effortlessly. The mirror shows you a world where you have been geometrically massacred, pulled through your own back. But because you look so calm in the reflection, your brain refuses to accept the implosion theory and defaults to the U-turn theory. The U-turn implies a left-right swap. The implosion implies a front-back swap. The mirror is the implosion. You are the U-turn. Let's push this to the extreme. Write the word ambulance on a piece of paper. Hold it up to the mirror. It is flipped. Readable in the glass, backward in your hand. Now write ambulance on a clear sheet of plastic. Hold it up, look at it, then look at the mirror. They are both readable. They are the same. Why? Because when you used the paper, you had to turn the paper around to show it to the mirror. You did the flipping. You physically rotated the paper 180 degrees, so the ink faced the glass. With the clear plastic, you didn't turn it. You looked through it. When you don't perform the rotation, the mirror doesn't flip anything relative to you. The text on the plastic flows left to right, and the reflection flows left to right. The reversal of the paper was an artifact of your hand motion, not the optics. You blamed the mirror for an action. Your wrist performed. So why do we always choose the horizontal rotation? Why does our mental ghost walk around us instead of doing a handstand? This is where biology hijacks physics. We live on a planet with a massive gravity. Well, for 4 billion years, up and down have been absolute. Up is towards the sky, down is towards the rock. But left and right, those are arbitrary. They change every time you turn your head. Symmetries in nature are almost always horizontal. You have a left eye and a right eye, but you don't have an up eye and a down eye. To your brain, swapping left and right is a cheap, easy calculation. It happens every time you meet someone. But swapping up and down, that implies a violation of gravity. It implies doing a handstand, which costs energy and rushes blood to your head. Your brain is a lazy energy conservation machine. When it reconstructs the geometry of the mirror, it chooses the transformation that requires the least imaginary calories. Walking around is easier than flipping over, so you preserve the vertical axis and sacrifice the horizontal one. You are a slave to gravity, even in your imagination. This reveals a disturbing truth about your perception of now. You think you are seeing the mirror image in real time. But you aren't just seeing light. You are seeing a simulation constructed by your expectation. The left and right you perceive don't exist in the photon stream. They are coordinates relative to your body schema. You are projecting your own proprioception, your internal sense of where your limbs are, onto the glass. You look at the reflection's hand, and your mirror neurons fire. That is a right hand. But spatially, geometrically, it is on the left side of the glass. You are constantly running a translation software that maps your internal feelings onto external light. When the map breaks, when the hand is on the wrong side, you call it a paradox. It is not a paradox, it is a software bug. The mirror exposes the fact that your visual reality is heavily edited by your motor cortex. Physics has a name for this: chirality, handedness. In the standard model of particle physics, the universe actually cares about left and right. The weak nuclear force, the thing that makes the sun burn, violates parity. It behaves differently in a mirror universe. If you built a car out of mirror matter, the engine might not start. This suggests that left and right are not just human labels, but fundamental properties of the fabric of space. However, for the macroscopic world, for you and me, the mirror represents a topological impossibility. In 3D space, you cannot superimpose a left hand onto a right hand. They are unique shapes. To turn one into the other, you would have to rotate it through a fourth dimension. The mirror is a window into a 4D rotation. It shows you what you would look like if you were lifted out of our 3D slice of the universe, flipped over in the fourth dimension, and placed back down. It is a hyperdimensional artifact sitting in your bathroom, and yet you look at it and worry about your hair. This is the tragedy of the human condition. We are confronted with deep geometric truths, and we interpret them as, is my tie straight? We treat the reflection as a social companion. We bond with it, we identify with it. But that thing in the glass is not you. It is an electromagnetic echo that has been stripped of its mass and inverted in depth. It is a ghost in the truest sense. The fact that you feel a connection to it is a testament to the power of your ego to colonize light itself. We are limited by our hardware. Our brains evolved to hunt gazelles and pick berries, not to decode the vector analysis of photon reflection. Our language reflects this. We say, the mirror flips left and right. That sentence is a lie. It uses vague, relative terms to describe an absolute mathematical operation. The math says transformation matrix Z becomes negative Z. That's the truth. The sentence left becomes right is a poem, a bad poem. We are trying to understand the universe with tools made of meat. The confusion you feel is the friction between your primate brain and the cold, hard geometry of light. So, the next time you stand in front of a mirror, don't look at your face. Look at the mechanism. Realize that you are not looking at a flip. You are looking at a crush. You are looking at yourself being pressed flat. The fact that your head stays up and your feet stay down is not a mercy. It is a stubborn insistence of your gravity-bound brain. The mirror didn't flip you. You flipped yourself in your mind because you couldn't handle the truth of being turned inside out. The paradox isn't on the wall. The paradox is you.